Let's explore why meditation could feel boring. This evening's lesson is drawn from a good-hearted question found on Reddit. The question begins, feeling bored during meditation, and continues. I'm assuming it's normal. Take two. I'm assuming it's a normal feeling, but the past few weeks my meditation has been really impatient and boring. Not sure if it has to do with my real life. But what does it mean or anything I can do to be more patient? So thank you very much for asking. This is an important question. A lesser person would just give up and use that as an excuse. The fact that you're asking for help speaks volumes as to the content of your character. So let's begin with broad brushstrokes. No, boredom is not an indictment. I can't tell you how many shitheads prance about the countryside insisting that only boring people get bored. That sucks. It's okay to be ignorant, but it's not okay to be arrogant and medically gaslight others. Ask a biologist. They will tell you that evolution is as cruel and ruthless as it is effective. If we evolve the capacity to feel bored, there is a reason for that. Boredom is our brain's way of grabbing us by the lapels and screaming at us that it has insufficient amounts of dopamine. There are two chief reasons for this: lifestyle reasons and medical reasons. Clearly, I'm not an MD, nor am I a PsyD. I can tell you from firsthand experience that getting evaluated as an adult for ADHD is time-consuming and expensive. It's worth it, but it's time-consuming and expensive. So here are some short-term strategies. If your body and your brain act like they have a dopamine deficiency, simple things. Number one, here are some variables to explore, some physical needs. Getting enough sleep, getting enough fresh air, getting enough sunshine, getting enough exercise. I'm a fan of body weight fitness myself. Walking, push-ups, pull-ups, deep knee bends, leg raises, things you don't need a gym membership for, things you don't need to get into the car and go someplace to do, things you can do in your own neighborhood, no less your own house or apartment. Diet plays a huge role in the health of our central nervous system. Are we consuming processed foods or whole foods? Are we consuming enough fruit, vegetables, mushrooms, whole grains, legumes, pulses, tubers? Tubers sound scary. That's just a fancy word for things like potatoes. Of course, now I got that line in my head. Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Excuse me. It's hard to believe that's been more than 20 years. Anyway, let's continue. There's also mental needs. So it should not surprise you that there's such a thing as neurodivergence. There are many neurotypes. One is not better or worse than the other. Each neurotype has its own strengths and weaknesses. And just as it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a wealth of neurotypes for any species to flourish, especially humans. It should not surprise you that some great luminaries have been neurodivergent, including spiritual ones. Perhaps that is why, in the Tibetan tradition, it is the standard operating procedure for the practitioners to shift between meditation and contemplation. For those prone to ADHD, this is a huge lifeline. When we feel bored, a contemplation can be very interesting and spark our creative juices, get our dopamine flowing. And then we can surf that dopamine into the next meditation session. During tonight's practice, and by the way, I'm not going to, that each live stream has a lesson and then a practice. So during the practice session of today's live stream, we're going to use Tibetan Buddhism inspired practice. We're going to use 2 preliminary practices, each one followed by meditation, and then let's see, my memory isn't great. Either two additional practices, one for bliss and letting go, one for love and letting go, also followed by meditation. So this is a great way to help with boredom. Boredom is your central nervous system screaming for dopamine. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean you're a lazy person. It means your body has unmet needs. Sadly, there are a lot of ignorant people and arrogant people who will look at something different and assume it's wrong and bad. And, Jane Austen made fun of people like this. When you read or watch a movie based on Pride and Prejudice, there's a very bougie woman who considers herself to be the perfect woman and compares all other women to herself badly. And you can hear at one point, and it's just, you can hear Jane Austen mocking her through her prose, which makes me think this is based off a real world person. So if the turkeys get you down, if people are giving you bad advice and telling you that it's boredom is a form of aversion and it's a flaw in your spiritual training, just remember that the great Jane Austen dealt with people just like that. Now, I think it could be great fun if together as a team we contemplated and meditated together. And we shall do that after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme, Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each sect of Buddhism so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. So this evening, let us work with the latest iteration of Diamond Mind's Easy Meditation. Those of us on the path of being, those on the rigid path might take the Diamond Mind as a real entity to be worshipped and supplicated. However, those of us on the path of being flexible, loving, and laid back view Diamond Mind as an archetype whose iconography simply reminds us of the various facets of the Buddha's teachings. So, this is tonight's practice, and we're going to go back and forth between contemplation and meditation to keep things nice and interesting. First things first, please chat with me. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with all volleys of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. So let us explore an interpretation of this mantra. I invoke the mastery of love and letting go, that can add benza diamond-like strength to a simple mind. May all beings enjoy such mastery. So quick edit, we're going to replace letting go with release. Because simply that is how I roll. Try to be consistent with my lingo through the text. Let us begin with bodhicitta refuge and bowing. Please chant with me. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of ever, hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. In our pragmatism, may our liberation of all others be fueled by our reliance on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students, described by the metaphor of the three wish-fulfilling jewels. So we're taking all of that and coalescing it into a recitation that is 8 syllables long. May we free all through the three jewels. May we free all through the three jewels. May we free all through the three jewels. So this is a great opportunity to knock out some Tibetan-style Buddha bowing. If you want me to do a tutorial on that, just let me know either in the chat window or in the commentary. And I'll be happy to set that up for you. Let's see, quick like a bunny, I'm going to hit copy and paste. So we're going to take these exact same 8 words. We're going to recite them, silently, mentally, and passively during our inhalation. During our exhalation, let us physically relax as best we can while striving to chant the 6-syllable mantra 8 times per breath. If this is your first time trying to do that, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om benza sato hung, 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 om benza sato hung. Oopsie, I mispronounced the mantra. Please forgive me. There are many mantras dancing around in my head. Let's try this again. Om benza sato wa, 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 om benza sato wa. Excellent. Now let us bring whatever we spontaneously notice into the path of awareness and release. Let's see if that works better. So here is the secret of meditation. While we silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we can kick back and watch the antics of mind as it perceives, emotes, intends, reasons, recalls, and imagines. While we silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we can relax into mind's non-graspable nature. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their application, please type your question in great detail in the chat window. And do be patient, for there is a bit of a lag time between when you click send and when it shows up on my end. Plus, I close my eyes during the meditation, so I won't see the questions until I transition. Together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as let us view letting go through a philosophical lens, as we bring the illusion of the horizontal duality of us and them into the rainbow-like dance of impermanence and interdependence known as Madhyamaka's yoga of inconceivability. Please chant with me. We're going to chant a series of rhetorical questions. How could visible circumstances or lots be as impermanent and interdependent? Oopsie, look this figure here out here. Let's put this here and see if that doesn't work better. How could visible circumstances or lots be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form? Now check this out. All animals on this planet have evolved to think symbolically. Therefore, in every language, on every populated continent, there are figures of speech. We're using the verb melt as a metaphor of impermanence, and we're using the verb absorb as a metaphor of interdependence. Instead of using hard verbs like is or are, we're using gentle ones like could be. Additionally, in sort of a humorous way, we're using the visualization of all circumstances absorbing into our body as an ironic way of transcending our own self-centeredness. So we're going to take all these words and squish them down into just 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Now that we're comfortable with these 6 syllables, we can recite them during our inhalation. During our exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can as we strive to chant these 6-syllable mantra 8 times per breath. And if this is your first time hanging out with me, give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om Benza Sato 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 Om Benza Sato. Together. How could sensual bodies or forms be as impermanent and interdependent, as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communicational speech. Om benza satu 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 om benza satu. How could resounding interpersonal communication or speech be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this awareness or mind? Om benza satu 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 om benza satu. How could lucid minds be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite outer sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, could be not graspable to the hand. Om benza satu om benza satu om benza satu om benza satu om benza satu. Oopsie. Om benza satu om benza satu om benza satu om benza satu. So now, having chanted, let us rest the mind as we bring whatever we spontaneously notice into the path of awareness and release. If you're new to this style of meditation, it's rather simple. While we silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we kick back and watch the play of mind as it perceives, emotes, intends, reasons, recalls, and imagines. As we silently, mentally, and passively recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we could relax into mind's non-graspable nature. If you struggle with boredom, which is more of a commentary on your dopamine system and less of a commentary on your character, you might enjoy crease counting. So here's one variation of Bengali crease counting. During each inhalation, we can advance the tip of our thumb. We can count on the creases of our hand. We can count our first inhalation, our second inhalation, our third inhalation, our fourth round, our fifth round, our sixth round, our seventh round, our eighth round, our ninth round, our 10th round, or 11th round, or 12th round. We can count cents of 12 on our left hand if we so desire. This helps once again with dopamine management. For me, that's been the case. Anything that feels awkward the first time you do it will feel more comfortable the 14th time you do it or the 28th time you do it. Welcome to this evening's live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or their application, please type your question in great detail in the chat window. Now it's time for Energy Work's Path of Bliss and Letting Go, which is known by many names, including Completion Stage Tantra, Bindu Mahamudra, Anu Yoga, and Tiple. As we breathe in, we can silently and mentally recite, relaxing into this. What's this? This is whatever we notice, whatever spontaneously comes up. Whatever sight, sound, sensation, flavor, scent, or the like. Whatever emotion, intention, thought, memory, or imagining. And the only label we need use is simply the demonstrative pronoun, this. During our exhalation, we can intone the syllable ah. This is what Lama Surya Das refers to as a user-friendly mantra. And again, let us bring whatever we spontaneously notice into the path of awareness and release. Let us bring the four bases of mindfulness, which would be the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. Let us bring the four bases of mindfulness into the conventional practice of love and release. May all clear minds of all beings know be as peacefully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a tikle one cerebral seed or bija mantra. So we're going to take all these words and squish them down into 6 syllables, which we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. So our job is not to practice concentration or magic or belief. All we're doing is silently, mentally, and passively reciting these words in harmony with our breathing. Doing so exercises the neural pathways responsible for empathy. Now that we are comfortable with these 6 syllables, we can recite them during our inhalation. During our exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant this 6-syllable mantra 8 times per breath. And if this is your first time hanging out with me, please give yourself permission to have a learning curve. Om Benza Sato Om Benza Sato Wa 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 Om Benza Sato Wa. May all relationships or speech of all beings know be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha speech symbolized by a horizontal mala mantra. You could think of it as like a frisbee. Om Benza Sato Wa 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 Om Benza Sato Wa. May all bodies or forms of all beings know and enjoy the beautiful health seen in Buddhist statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Yadaman archetype of enlightenment such as Dorje Sempa. Om Benza Sato Wa 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 Om Benza Sato Wa. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safe good fortune or boon as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or Vati. Satwa, Mensa Satwa, Om Benza Satwa, Mensa Satwa, Om Benza Satwa, Mensa Satwa, Om Benza Satwa, Mensa Satwa. For our fourth and final time this evening, let us bring whatever we spontaneously notice into the path of awareness and release. Let us seal this evening's practice by chanting love and releases wishes for universal enlightenment and well-being. May all minds of all beings lucid yet void now be as peacefully enlightened as a Buddha's mind symbolized by a unsearchable vision. May all speech of all beings resounding yet void now be as joyfully loving as a Buddha's speech symbolized by mantra. May all forms of all beings sensual yet void now be as beautifully healthy as a Yadamark type depicted in Buddha statuary. May all lots of all beings appearing yet void now be as safely fortunate as a pure land of law represented in Buddhist paintings. May every meditation teacher truly understand the Buddha's teachings, and practice master as well as teach them generously, lovingly, and wisely in the manner of centered spontaneity. May all meditation teachers spontaneously receive generous patrons, enthusiastic students, as well as devoted apprentices. And may many Dharma centers likewise be successfully planted, nurtured, and supported. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.